2026 is stacked with some of the biggest releases coming to PS5, so let's see what we have in store. Hello everyone, it's Aidan from Push Square here, and now that we've had some big announcements, I reckon now would be a good time to break down the 15 biggest games that we know are heading to PS5 in 2026. But before we dig into it, remember to subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation video content just like this. We're starting with a locked-in horror blockbuster. Resident Evil Requiem is the 9th mainline entry in this long-running series. This time it's got a new protagonist in the form of Grace Ashcroft, daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft from the RE Outbreak series. Well, it's a few years down the line at this point. Grace is an FBI analyst and she's returning to the hotel where her mother was murdered in a big old mystery that leads her to the crumbling ruins of Raccoon City. It's blending the remakes with the first person entries by actually featuring both first and third person, and it features a brand new, terrifyingly persistent creature that'll hunt you down just like Mr. X. Man, I cannot wait for this one. It's dropping on PS5 February 27th. We finally got our first look at IO Interactive's long-awaited 007 First Light, a blend of Bond action with the meticulous level design of a Hitman game. Well, the extended look at a recent State of Play showed off the incredible density of its levels and a bit of driving, but the most impressive part for me was the gunplay and action. Obviously, it's against the point to get into shootouts in Hitman, but I always found that aspect of the game quite stale. This looks frenetic, and there's an impressive amount of unique animations and, just classic Bond stuff. I have to say, the frame rate on the PS5 Pro footage that was shown was a bit choppy, so I really do hope that IO is able to smooth things out come launch. But man, this should be a hell of a time, and it's coming to PS5 March 27th, 2026. Adopting both ninja and samurai combat styles, Nioh 3 is taking this Souls-like experience to the next level. Scheduled in for early 2026, you're tasked with conquering the Crucible and becoming the Shogun. The game features what it calls an open field, allowing you to explore a dark samurai world to your heart's content. And coming back to that dual combat style, samurai style is fairly similar to the combat from previous Nioh games with some enhancements. However, ninja style excels in quick movements like dodging and aerial attacks, along with various ninjutsu techniques. You can switch back and forth between these two styles on the fly, adding a whole other layer to the already cracking combat system from the Nioh series. It's scheduled to come to PS5 early 2026. Crimson Desert is shaping up to be one of the biggest fantasy RPGs of 2026. It's a sprawling open-world action game from developer Pearl Abyss, set in the continent of Pywell. There's obviously conflict to be found, pretty and flashy action combat, on top of a plethora of wee bits and bobs to do if you fancy just chilling out in this world. It's got some cracking looking graphics, so I am holding out a wee bit to see how it all runs on the PS5, but it's hard not to get swept up in the gameplay that's been shown so far. Here's hoping it sticks the landing when it launches Q1 2026. What really is there to say? Grand Theft Auto 6 is easily one of the most hotly anticipated games in recent memory. Rockstar sure do have a lot of hype to live up to with this one, but even from the tiny little snippets that we've seen, it looks like the most immersive and densely packed open world the story developer has ever created. There's so much I'd still love to know about the game, like how GTA Online will evolve for example, and what changes have been made to the gameplay. But man, it's exciting stuff getting stuck into a new Rockstar game. So get your holidays booked, because GTA 6 is coming to PS5 May 26. From Supermassive Games, Directive 8020 is a single-player narrative experience set in a dark and gory sci-fi world. Stuck on a ship filled with human-mimicking creatures or aliens, Directive 8020 is going to feature those split-second decisions where characters can live or die. It looks like this is one of Supermassive's biggest titles yet, and the whole premise of anyone potentially being a mimicking alien is really cool. It ties in nicely with who you decide to trust, and I think it could be really special with that decision mechanic. Admittedly, I haven't really played many of the Dark Picture Supermassive games, but this certainly piques my interest. It's scheduled for release in the first half of 2026, after a delay out of 2025. Phantom Blade Zero is shaping up to be a real doozy. This martial arts wuxia-inspired experience is taking lightweight, frenetic melee combat to the next level. Honestly, the animations on this one have been elite from what we've seen so far, and the energy to the fights, I mean, just wow. Obviously, I'd love to see how it actually feels to play, but the gameplay has really impressed me so far, and it actually to me looks like a more impressive version of Black Myth Wukong. The story follows Soul, an elite assassin who is framed for the murder of the Order, and then is actually killed, but brought back with some makeshift healing. You have just 66 days to get to the bottom of a conspiracy and get your revenge. This one is supposedly getting a release date soon, but as of recording, nothing yet. We just know that it's coming in 2026. From Bandai Namco, Code Vein 2 is the dramatic action-adventure sequel where you and your destined partner explore a vast world, get into some good old scraps, and experience a tale that supposedly transcends time. Big words, but hopefully Code Vein 2 lives up to them. With some Devil May Cry-like action, fights look manic and bombastic and so over the top in some ways. The enemy and world designs are also very cool, with a sort of mix of anime-inspired character design and fairly detailed yet colourful environments. It's just heading to PS5 2026 so far, no specific date. Onimusha is back for the first time in an age with Way of the Sword. This is a gorgeous looking action game with fast-paced combat and killer combos. I think fans of the series will just be glad that it has come back. I mean, the last mainline entry that wasn't a remaster was on like the PS2 or something, but I do think it'll be interesting to see how people react to a new Onimusha game. To me, an outsider of the series, this game looks kinda Soulsy. So does this new one just play out like another Souls-like, or does it capture the magic of the Onimusha series? I'd personally love to see some kind of mid-2000s quirkiness bottled up with Way of the Sword, but I guess we'll find out next year. We were supposed to have Pragmata years ago at this point, but after numerous brutal delays, it looks like we're finally getting it in 2026. Now, we recently previewed the game actually, and while its sci-fi world and presumable father-daughter duo might not be the most original thing out there, what is quite original is its combat. Mixing traditional third-person shooting with a sort of hacking minigame, combat has an incredibly frantic yet tactical feel to it. It also looks phenomenal. I've been getting some kind of Stellar Blade vibes, at least visually, from this, and I think that could be pretty cool. So we'll finally get to see what all the fuss is about when Capcom finally drops Pragmata next year. Housemarque is back with a brand new IP in the form of Saros, a sci-fi action game starring Rahul Kohli of Haunting of Hill House fame. It'll see you trying to solve the haunting mystery of a lost off-world colony, which is plunged into darkness by an ominous eclipse. The big difference between this and the fantastic Returnal is that Saros will feature permanent resources and progression, meaning you aren't starting completely from scratch with each death. I'm expecting Saros to hold on to that phenomenal third-person gunplay. We have been promised that we'll see gameplay at some point in 2025 with an eventual release in 2026. Man, I can't wait for this one. Fighting fans are absolutely buzzing about this one because Arc System Works, a developer renowned for its work on titles like Guilty Gear, Hunter x Hunter and Double Dragon Revive, is making a Marvel-based fighting game. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is a colourful fighter where you of course get to play as various iconic heroes from Spider-Man to Iron Man, Doctor Doom to Miss Marvel. Sounds cool enough on its own for some people, but what is seemingly elevating it even further is its vibrant style and its focus on esports. This looks like a work of art in action with some great Japanese inspired designs and even cool twists like an assemble fight mode where different heroes tag in. No date as of yet outside of 2026. Lords of the Fallen 2, which is technically the third Lords of the Fallen game, is heading to PS5 in 2026. It's actually a fairly quick turnaround after the reboot launched in just 2023. While that game had its issues at launch, I think I gave it a 7 out of 10 at the time, I've come to really enjoy it with its numerous updates since, and I even played through the whole thing again with a mate thanks to a recent co-op update. It seems though that developer Hexworks is keen to listen to community feedback on the last game and apply it directly to this. So we're still getting the really cool double world feature with the umbral lamp transporting us from the land of the living to the land of the dead. But another thing is a big focus on better boss fights, which I think is really cool, and it was the thing that was kinda lacking in the last game. LEGO Batman makes its return in 2026 with Legacy of the Dark Knight. What's super cool about this game is that it's basically just an Arkham game, but LEGO. It's got what looks like the full Arkham combat system, complete with comic cracks and whips. It's also making references to all of the different movies, from Matt Reeves' The Batman to Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight films. And in typical LEGO fashion, it's poking fun at all of these things. With this game and last year's LEGO Horizon Adventures, I'm blown away by how good these games look now. I'm sure this is just going to be a ton of fun when it drops in 2026. Last one here then, from Amy Hennig, the writer responsible for some of the Uncharted series. 1943 Rise of Hydra is a seemingly ultra big budget single player narrative game following the conflict between Captain America and Black Panther during World War II. The cinematics for this one, which is admittedly all we've really seen at this point, are unreal. The two heroes will need to set aside their differences to face a common evil. Typical Marvel stuff then, but I am very curious to see how the gameplay looks in this one, because as it stands it's given big The Order 1886 vibes, which, you know, is fun in its own way, but I would hope for something a bit more involved. I guess we'll find out at some point in 2026. So those are 15 huge games coming to PS5 in 2026. Which of these are you most looking forward to? Let me know down in the comments below, and of course comment any games that I haven't mentioned here. Like, I'm really hoping Lights No Fire launches in 2026, the new game from Hello Games. I'm super excited for that one. So yeah, let me know down in the comments, and while you're down there, remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation video content just like this. Anyway, until next time, I've been Aaron, and this has been Push Square.